We have our special guest of honor who will be giving the keynote speech. He's been held up in another engagement elsewhere and is now here with us. He's no other than John Kithongo, which for Kenyans I don't need to introduce him. And for those who have read the book by Angela Rong on Is Our Time to Hit, he needs no further introduction. He's the anti-corruption czar in Kenya, and he's a very notable figure in this country. He was a permanent secretary, am I correct?
Yes, I was.
On anti-corruption to the president, and he made several landmarks in the anti-corruption crusade here in Kenya and on the entire continent.
This is truly an important subject, talking of elections and the management of diversity and the role of media in that. I would just like to correct, or just to clarify, I was a permanent secretary for governance and ethics involved in anti-corruption. We have had a number of similar positions across Africa, including in your own country, Nigeria, with my friend, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu. We have had one in South Africa, my friend there. And at one time, we have all found ourselves hiding out in different places. And so that's the story of anti-corruption. So I tend not to use the name anti-corruption czar, because the last czar came to a very unfortunate end. When one talks about managing diversity in our countries, and here I'm talking specifically about Africa, but what is happening in the Middle East is also giving us snippets of some of these challenges as well. I'm reminded again and again that elections are actually a very small pillar in the overall nation-building project. But they capture the imagination in a way that nothing else does. There's a sense, and I'm only going to make 7 points, primarily to provoke discussion. There's a sense in which we forget that building a nation is different from having a country. We all ended up after independence with countries, with flags, presidents, national airlines, the usual bells and whistles that come with becoming a country. But I question whether we have become nations. Definitely it's a question that I ask about Kenya, because in 2007, we went through a period of post-election violence where people turned on each other along ethnic lines in a manner that would have been unimagined before. It shocked us as Kenyans. We are in the really unfortunate and humiliating position of finding some of our top leaders at the International Criminal Court charged with crimes against humanity, which has its own controversies. So when I talk about managing diversity and elections, I would say that so far, I think the kind of research that is being produced by yourselves is absolutely critical, so that we can be able, maybe in 5 years, to judge what has the cost of these elections been to nationhood. Because there are some nations that have come out worse for wear as a result of elections. I remember in the early 1990s, of the 22 countries that held multi-party elections within 6 years of 1990, 6 of them had a civil war within 4 years. However, we had some where Zambia, etc., where we had a peaceful change in power. So I would encourage you to continue doing this research to tell us, as Africans, for Africans, is our elections helping us build nations? And what is the role of media in that?